We are slaying monsters.
Don't let the ghosts and the ghouls disturb you, darling.
I don't think we've done a whole lot of cults. We haven't really talked at all about cults here, have we? We talked about the Illuminati.
Oh, we should rectify that.
Yeah. I feel like there's got to be some like fucking Fortean cult that we can get into.
Yeah, it has to have paranormal qualities, you know?
Yeah.
I can think of at least 2 cults that have like alien stuff, right? Like there was the Jonestown, they were all into the comet or something, and
I think that was Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate, thank you.
Yeah, apple bottom, something like that.
Apple White, I think.
Yeah, and then, I mean, Scientology.
That's true, that's aliens.
Scientology is a gigantic hole to dive into.
We'll just do a whole year on Scientology.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
I think you can.
2027, Slaying Monsters, the year of Scientology.
Scientology, yeah. Well, but cults, no, not really.
Cults, no. But we're talking about cults this morning because, EJ, you got something going on with cults. Not like in a cult way.
I haven't joined a cult.
Not yet.
Although I have joined, I guess you could say I've joined the horror author cult.
Yeah.
Yes. So my debut horror novel is slated to come out spring of 2027. I can finally talk about it with Evil Twin, which is an imprint within Zando, and I am very excited. And I can't quite. Oh man, I'm gonna get all teary now.
No, go, get teary, get teary. That's what our listeners want.
We're so proud of you.
No, thank you so
Cry.
much. Cry for us. No, it's been a really long road, and I really don't want to use this as self-promotion, but I just want listeners to know, since you listen and maybe you care, I don't know. I've just been working really hard toward this for many years and trying to break into the horror scene. I've written many novels that haven't quite made it, and this one did, and I'm very, very proud of it and excited to bring it to the world, and I'm so lucky to have such a fantastic team at Zando. My editor is a gem. I'm so grateful. And so I'm excited to talk about it, to be able to finally talk about it. Here's the pitch. This is from the Publishers Marketplace Deal Report, just to kind of give y'all an idea of what it is, and then we can move on to the Fortean. The title is Anna Must Die Again. It is pitched as a queer Thelma and Louise meets Midsummer, about an unlikely duo who embark on a road trip to confront a sinister cult that resurrects defiant women as obedient wives, only to discover the undead make better revolutionaries than the living. That is the gist, and I'll leave you with that, and I hope to have more news coming about just, more updates on the progress of the book.
We'll update as things progress. And I just in case we missed it, that's the release date for that, EJ?
It's spring 2027, I said.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, spring 2027. So check your bookshelves. We'll be letting you know as things progress.
Yeah, mark your calendars. We'll let you know when pre-sale goes on.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yep.
Those are the announcements. Yes. Things.
Gotta buy.
Katie's got my back.
Maybe we'll even do something special for our listeners when pre-sale happens. But yeah, here we are on a very exciting month. It's been quite a wild month. EJ, you want to bring us into the episode as well?
Oh yeah. So we are slaying monsters. We got Maddie J.
Hey.
We got Katie.
Hi.
And I'm EJ. And we're going to talk mostly about disclosure. Probably.
Yeah, I think we are. This ended up, it's funny because when we first started here, I kind of thought this would be a quick news item, and then this became a huge news item as time passed, and more and more people threw in on it. And let's get down to it, because Obama said aliens are real. Guys, that's it. That's the definitive. Aliens are real. Obama said it. It's the end.
According to many people, that's the truth.
So, on a recent YouTube interview with Brian Tyler Cohen, Obama let it slip and he said, "They're real, but I haven't seen them. They're not being kept in Area 51. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy and they hid it from the President of the United States." And then he took a sip from his drink in what conspiracy theorists are calling a very suspicious way. He also said that the first question he asked after he was sworn in as president is, "Where are the aliens?" Which is also the question I would ask too, honestly.
It's the question everyone has asked. Everyone since like the 1950s, 1940s.
Yeah. The internet ran with all of this, the admission, the tea, sip, everything. Bloggers, journalists were claiming that Obama finally said aliens are real, and maybe that they were even being kept concealed from the executive branch for a number of reasons. Everything got so frenzied that Obama had to go on Instagram and say, quote, "Statistically, the universe is so vast that the odds are good there's life out there. But the distances between solar systems are so real that the chances we've been visited by aliens is low. And I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us." Really?
Yep. Well, I also want to put a timeline on that in that, like, he had to clarify like 24 hours later. Like, that's how quickly this went. And if our listeners don't know, there's a podcast called Pod Save America, and it's the hosts of it used to work in the Obama administration. They were like comms guys for the Obama administration. They talked about this, of course, and they said that Obama like never clarifies himself. So the fact that this like went so fast and like so viral that he felt the need to be like, whoa, everybody chill out. They thought that was like pretty significant that it had gotten so out of hand that he felt like that he needed to say something. So thought that was interesting.
The other thing I love about their comments, the Pod Save America comments, is that, so first for clarity, this was all said during a lightning round of interview questions at the end of the interview, one of those like real quick question and answer sessions. So he was giving these sort of succinct off-the-cuff responses and didn't dive deeper into anything. And Tommy from Pod Save America said that if President Obama was going to disclose the truth about aliens, it probably wouldn't be during the lightning round in like minute 46 of a 50-minute interview on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked that comment too. He was like, yeah, no, that's probably not how this is going to go down. I did actually like Obama's clarification that he was like, statistically, they probably exist. Like, that's what I meant when I said that they're real. Yeah. And I also thought that, like, I don't even know if his first question upon getting to the presidency was, are aliens real? Like, I think it's objectively been proven that Obama's like a pretty funny guy. Yeah. And like, he's in a lightning round and like, he just answered this question about aliens. And then the last question was like, what was the first question you asked when you got to the presidency? And he's like, are aliens real? Like, that's just funny, right? Yeah. Whether or not it's true, you know? So I'm like, I also think that that's what's so hilarious to me about this whole internet frenzy is I'm like, I think he might have been telling a joke, guys. Like...
But the internet is really bad at jokes. They're really bad at telling when people are joking.
That's the thing. You have to be, even in a lightning round, unfortunately, these days, you have to be so careful about what the hell you're saying because aliens are loaded. They're such a loaded thing now.
And we see it because, so what happened after that? After Obama took to Instagram and posted that, then Donald Trump weighed in an interview that was given in a doorway. Katie, did you see this? I
no. Oh my God.
Okay. So Donald Trump got asked the question, what's going on with the aliens? And first he chastised Obama for releasing classified information. And then he promised to direct his officials to review and release alien and UAP-related documents to the public. And then he claimed that he didn't know if aliens were real.
Well, here's the thing. He says he doesn't know a lot of stuff because that's his answer for everything. But I mean, not to sort of blend us into something we wanted to touch back on, but I think it's a good segue, which is that just touching back on the conspiracy theory about the secret military weapon that the U.S. has that they used in Venezuela.
Yes.
I feel like in the Daily Show clip that we watched that had to do with this, with Donald Trump talking about this weapon in an interview, the Daily Show said, which I thought was very funny, like, this is how you know aliens aren't real, because if they were, Donald Trump would have been like, you guys,
check out the aliens.
Yeah. The man cannot keep a secret. So like,
No.
I'm sorry, y'all. Similarly to Obama, do I think statistically probably there are extraterrestrials? Yes. Have
Yes,
they
I
come
do
to
too.
Earth? Probably not. No.
Yeah.
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 I think it also speaks to the fact that Trump isn't really aware of what's going on, and he chooses not to be super aware. Like when they're like, "Oh, what about what Obama said?" and he just jumps to this conclusion that Obama is releasing confidential secret. I'm just like, dude. First of all, if you're getting briefed at all, you're not listening to the briefings.
No.
And second of all, like you just don't pay any attention to anything that's going on around you. Like, this was a shit show firestorm that came out of Obama's mouth, and he seems to be completely unaware of it. And instead jumps to some conclusion, which is typical Trump.
Typical. But I think also like that it's just ironic, like in terms of information, like lackadaisicalness with information. Yeah. It's like, okay, sir. I mean, we all saw the situation room, I used air quotes for our listeners, from which you launched attack on Venezuela, which were like barely, not even completely like opaque black curtains at your clubhouse in Florida, which is not secure, just in case our listeners aren't sure about that. Like,
oh my God.
So this isn't a political podcast. No, we're not talking about that, but we will say that accusing Obama of leaking classified information is rich coming from this administration.
Yeah, laughable and ironic. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. What gets under my skin is that after Trump vowed to release this shit, then there was actually kind of an outpouring of support for him and for this. You had Jay Stratton, who was one of the whistleblowers from the documentary Age of Disclosure. He praised Trump and said, quote, "After years of fighting for disclosure behind the scenes, I couldn't be prouder to be a part of this turning point in human history."
Oh my God. Everything's a turning point.
Everything. It's
Every
not,
whisper.
though.
Yeah. It's not. It's not.
Also, Trump history has shown that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. He will not be releasing anything. He's happy to spew whatever comes out of his thoughts or brain at that point in time. Like, he is not to be relied upon to do anything at all. And like, even if he does release anything, like, I think also it's been pretty evident that his administration is releasing what they want and not releasing what they don't want. Epstein. So
yeah.
I think
it's
that,
it's a very, very pointed and purposeful release. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like, what's to say he wouldn't do the same thing here, even if there is anything to release, which I honestly don't think there is. I think if they release anything, it's going to be like all other alien UAP release situations where it's like, yep, here's this data that we've collected on people they've seen unidentified aerial phenomena, and it's going to mean not that much actually when it all comes down to it in terms of like hard evidence, you know?
Well, Anna Paulina Luna does think that there's something there because she went on Fox News and said that aliens are real and are visiting Earth through interdimensional travel. Meanwhile, Tim Burchett also went on Fox News and claimed that he had been briefed on aliens in underwater bases and claimed that he knew of 5 locations where they apparently were stationed.
Cool.
Sorry, I'm a conspiracy theory dummy, but like, who is Tim?
Oh, he is Tim Burchett?
Yeah.
He's a representative from Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's another one of these forerunners with like he's like Luna. He's deep into all of this shit.
Wait, he's been briefed on where the aliens live? Like, I have a couple of comments about that. First, one, if that's true, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, you should not be saying that on Fox News. Just straightforwardly, no. 2, like, no, you haven't. So what are you even saying? Or 3, maybe even worse, is like, what did you think what were you actually being told that you thought you were being told about aliens and underwater bases? Like, which of those 3 things is it?
This is the fucking thing about this disclosure. So, all right, this is the sound of me setting down my soapbox. And to be clear, I'm not against disclosure. And I think that transparency is important when you deal with these things. And I think transparency to a certain point between the government and its citizens is also important. But let's be real. UFOs, UAPs, extraterrestrials, non-human intelligences, call it what you will, that has been a circular talking point and counterintelligence cornerstone for decades. We know that during the Cold War, the US government used rumors of crash saucers to cover up real advanced weaponry testing, like stealth bomber, drones, and ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. We know that UFOs and aliens have been used as loyalty tests inside the Pentagon, where they would brief members on bogus, like, crash retrieval, reverse engineering programs to see if they could keep quiet about it or if they were going to leak classified information. And we know that alien invasions have been used as sandbox strategy scenarios for military war games. And we know that the Air Force Office of Special Investigation regularly disseminated false information to civilian ufologists, including MUFON, to throw foreign agents off the track of real military engineering programs. We know all of these things. And if you study these topics like we have on this podcast, you know that they're true. But what happens time and time again is that these people, without the background of information and the history of it, they hear about Roswell or Area 51 or, bodies in Hangar 18 or whatever. And they take these stories at face value and then they compare them to decades of reporting that not only cites the same sources, but is actively being supported by continual disinformation leaks that are intended to build the alien narrative. And they get immersed in this world. And this is what you're seeing now.
I do think that it's really staggering the amount of programs that are already in place to find out where the intelligence holes are among people who should be trusted. And I think that the people that we're seeing right now front and center, and I don't know what role they play in it. Are they the disseminators or are they the leaks? Like, I don't know what role they play, but like people like Lou Elizondo, I have to wonder, where is he in this? Like, is this all part of that game? This kind of war game that they're playing out is all over the place right now. It's very interesting to watch.
And I think it's purposefully complicated, too.
Yes.
It is complicated so no one knows what's really going on, or at least very few people know what's really going on. And if lots of people have little pieces but not the whole picture, that's good for military intelligence. It's bad if a lot of people know everything. That's how you get leaks. And that's how you get foreign actors getting information.
And we know this happened. We know because of Paul Benowitz.
Yeah, that's a huge tangent that we don't necessarily need to get into now. But the story of Paul Benowitz is one where the Air Force Special Intelligence Office of Special Investigations came in, specifically targeted him with misinformation. So he would get thrown off the trail of actual weapons development that was going on at Kirkland Air Force Base during the 80s. Like that is a real thing that happened. And the officer in charge there, Richard Dottie, has come out and expressed that, told it specifically. Bill Moore, the author who was part of, who was, I think was kind of manipulated into it, he's come out and he talked about it at a MUFON conference. You know, like these things were real. They happened.
And are happening.
And are continuing to happen. And
because they work.
Yeah.
They work really well. And there are a lot of people that are excited about aliens and want them to be real. And by the way, I'm one of those people that want aliens to be real because I think it's fucking cool.
I also
think they're real. I also think they're very real.
Yeah,
and
I
they're
think
just
we all
not
do.
here. But you know, there are just legions of people that are fascinated and invested in this topic. And I think that the government is capitalizing upon that.
For misdirection, yeah.
Yes, for
Exactly.
misdirection.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 It's too bad, folks, but it's not true.
At least there's no evidence. At least
Right.
there's just no evidence pointing to that.
Or the evidence that we get is always very easily dismissed, debunked. You know, there's nothing that's compelling.
Yeah.
Right. And I think everybody's getting caught up in, like, obviously, an Obama saying, oh, they're real, in that first sentence. But, like, what he says more in the speed round is, I have seen no evidence of this.
Right.
And, like, and of course he says, unless there's a huge conspiracy that they, like, kept from the president of the United States, which of course I'm sure all the conspiracy theorists are like, there is, he's confirming it. But it's like, no, what he's actually saying in that sentence is, if you read between the lines, is nobody keeps shit from me and I didn't hear anything about it. So it doesn't exist.
But then,
you know?
But then he took a sip of tea. He took
T
a
for
sip of tea.
ET. Extraterrestrial. Oh my God.
Extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial.
True.
Feel like I'm in an Adam West Batman episode.
What if it was Earl Grey?
Oh my God.
You know what? My rain on this parade analysis of that is, he said it. He realized that he was like, fuck, I probably shouldn't have said that. And he took tea, and he took a sip of tea.
to
Or-
like recover, yeah.
Or was that his dry sense of humor that we all know so well? You're like, oh, unless they were keeping it a secret from the president. Tea.
Sip.
Yeah.
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 Just to get
more,
you all riled up.
more jokes.
Exactly.
Jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a quote, a 2015 GQ magazine interview with Obama. This is 2015. They asked him about the UFO crash at Roswell, and he said this: I gotta tell you, it's a little disappointing. People always ask me about Roswell and the aliens and the UFOs, and it turns out the stuff going on that's top secret isn't nearly as exciting as you expect. In this day and age, it's not as top secret as you think.
I think that's super telling.
You know, I've never really wondered what the statistical likelihood of being abducted by aliens in different states was, but the folks over at Canada Sport Betting did, and they decided to put the odds together. So I thought this was incredible. This is the Alien Abduction Odds Index of 2026. And it takes historical reports of alien abductions in the US and Canada and breaks them down by state or province. And they have generated a statistical implied probability of the most likely places that you will get abducted. Now, in the US, the number one state for alien abductions was New Hampshire at 2%.
That's low.
Well, yeah, that was the highest. Like, there's not anywhere that's higher than 2%. Because honestly,
it's not that many.
Yeah, nobody has like a 50% coin flip chance of being abducted by aliens.
That's true.
Yeah,
That is definitively true.
yeah. Here in Pennsylvania, you only have a 1.22% chance. But if we cross the river into New Jersey, that drops to 0.99%.
I liked the the numbers. So in New Hampshire, it was something like 1 in 52. I felt like that put a more like concrete picture of
like that.
what you're thinking about, because obviously like 2% chance, it's like, what does that mean in terms of like actual people? Because different states have different people and things like that. So that number helped me like concretize it more, I think.
Well, yeah, for us, it's 1 in 82. 1 in every 82 people in Pennsylvania have been abducted by aliens, or have the possibility of being abducted by aliens.
I did think it was really weird that New Mexico was last.
I know, right?
It didn't make sense to me. Maybe it's because people report sightings there, but they don't report abductions.
I don't know in terms of New Mexico, other than Roswell, and the famous crashes and stuff. I don't feel like there's a lot of UFO reporting that comes out of there beyond the sightings, like the sightings that they see in the sky, but they're not really touching down or anything like that. And it's also possible, these are reported abductions. So it's possible that unreported abductions, they're not going to be on here. So there may be more people who just haven't talked about it.
Right.
I thought it was interesting because there are actually some cluster states. So like Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont were all in the top 5. Oregon, Washington, and Idaho were close behind. I think they were all in the top 10. So there's these little clusters that happen in some places.
That's interesting. I don't. Yeah, like in places like Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, I feel like there's a lot more alien sightings. And it makes me wonder if aliens hunt like velociraptors, where like you don't see them, like maybe you're focused on something, like it distracts you, like you're focused on something and you're Muldoon and you have your gun trained and you're like, okay, maybe I got to go after that thing, but then you don't see the aliens coming in from the side.
Like you're looking at cowls in the Midwest and suddenly the aliens swoop in. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. I think you're definitely onto something there.
Okay. Thanks. I think so too.
Yeah. No, I mean this whole thing was silly, but like in a fun way, a really fun way. And I love that someone just like put pen to paper and figured out the odds. I had a good time with it. Yeah. It was fun to look at and see. So.
Also for our listeners in the Great North, in Canada, you're most likely to be abducted in British Columbia, and you're least likely to be abducted in Prince Edward Island. So if you're looking to get abducted, head to British Columbia. Huh. Yeah. I thought it was interesting because British Columbia is also the home of Bigfoot up there.
Well,
a lot of Sasquatch reports there.
That just proves that Bigfoot's an interdimensional being.
No, not interdimensional, an extraterrestrial from spacecrafts, right? Unless the aliens themselves are interdimensional, like Anna Paulina Luna says.
Yes, and Bigfoot happens to be riding along with them.
Oh, just you think the aliens are sort of like Ubering, like they're Uber drivers, and then Bigfoot swings in as like a Uber pool on the spacecraft.
He's just part of another dimension. He's just out there with them. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it could also he's their pilot, maybe,
like a Wookiee.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Chewie.
Mm-hmm. More proof that Steven Spielberg knows.
Yes.
Yeah, and now we're back on that again, right?
Yeah. He's been telling us the whole time.
He's been telling us the whole time with the Wookiee.
See, real disclosure was always going to come from Steven Spielberg and Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
Although, wait, Steven... that was George Lucas.
Oh, whoops.
No. Steven Spielberg was involved in the original trilogy. Yes.
He was?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of course he was, because he knows everything.
Yeah.
He knows all.
You're right, Katie. All right.
I am right. No, I mean, listen, I like if we're really just gonna like go down a rabbit hole, crazy physics, quantum physics, talk about like different dimensions and that kind of thing. Like if one day we figure out that like come in contact in some way, maybe not like physically, but observationally or something with extraterrestrials, I could also see that there's something interdimensional going on there, because like maybe that's how they get around, because they figured out like going between dimensions or something, you know, some of that crazy quantum physics shit that like when I read about it, it blows my mind. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I know, like, what's more likely, right? That they figured out how to bend space to create shortcuts, or have they created propulsion systems that send them light years in like a matter of months? Like, what's more likely? I don't know.
one's simpler. It seems like bending space to create shortcuts is actually simpler.
I think that's why that is the like new popular pet theory for aliens or extraterrestrials now. That's why they keep talking about it as non-human intelligence instead of calling them specifically aliens, because that way you sort of get into this, maybe they're just humans from another time. You know, maybe we evolved far enough in the future that we learned time travel and we're just popping back to 2026.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so they're literally thinking of it as like time travel. Like, I was literally thinking of it as like extraterrestrials. Like, they could be amoebas or bacteria, or I don't fucking know. They could be anything, a random color, whatever this intelligence is that they've like figured out interdimensional travel or something like that. And so it's not necessarily about time travel. It's more about like, yeah, like bending space-time continuums or something. Like, I don't know.
And that's like, once you start getting into that and bending space and creating wormholes, what is more realistic? Is it more realistic that we're traveling through time or through space? You know, I don't really know.
Space. No, I don't know.
Katie's like, space, definitively.
Definitively space. No, I have no idea. Yeah, no, maybe we should stop. Like, once you start talking about that, it's like, well, then like anything, like you're getting into the realm of like science fiction and
I think we have talked on the podcast before about how far apart celestial bodies actually are and how long you would have to travel if you were using conventional physics. So if this was happening, or even looking ahead at the future, like if we intended to get out of the solar system at some point, we would need to figure out a way to circumvent existent physics in order to do it. Because otherwise you're putting people on a spaceship and being like, hey, get on this, go continue to procreate, and eventually your great grandkids will be able to continue this experiment somewhere, you know? But that there's no other way to do it.
right.
You want to move on from that?
Sure.
I think our listeners should just take a second and put on the James Bond theme in the background here, because this one kind of has everything. It's got spies, we have Cold War intrigue, and we have a healthy dose of flying saucers. So, allegedly, ufologist George Knapp smuggled top secret documents out of Russia in 1993. And he has been sitting on these for 33 years. 33 years, and he released them last month, finally. These documents allegedly detail the Soviet Union's investigation into UFOs during the 70s and 80s. Essentially, what he got was the Russian version of Project Blue Book, or Project Red Book, if you will. Now, among the reports in these documents are alleged jellyfish-style UFOs, where lights sighted over the Black and Caspian Seas merged and like split apart. There's also reports of Russian civilians who came into contact with aliens, including a teenager who was flown to another planet in a silver disc. These are all in the papers that George Knapp released. Now, George Knapp himself, who acquired these documents, has been mixed up in this for a very long time. He rose to prominence alongside Bob Lazar. That's the guy who claimed to have reverse engineered flying saucers at Area 51. And more recently, Knapp aligned himself with Jeremy Corbell, who made the documentary on Skinwalker Ranch, and Lou Elizondo, the DoD whistleblower. I don't know exactly how Knapp managed to get his hands on these documents, and smuggle them out of Russia, but I can offer some speculative insight anyway. So during the 1980s, the US government became increasingly concerned about intelligence and security surrounding their top secret weapons and aircraft development programs like B-2 bomber and drones. And an organization to investigate potential leaks was the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, or the AFOSI. One of the prominent members of that organization was Richard Doty, who we talked about in our previous news item. Very famous for his involvement and psychological harassment of ufologist Paul Benowitz. After the close of Project Blue Book in 1969, grassroots UFO groups emerged. They wanted to research after what happened with Blue Book. Without government oversight, the AFOSI started to become concerned that very real information about top secret weapons and crafts might be leaking to the Soviets by these unsuspecting ufologists who were just looking up at the skies, seeing weird crafts, and then talking about them. Because after all, a stealth bomber looks an awful lot like a flying saucer, right? Mm-hmm. So to combat this potential security fiasco at this point, AFOSI organized handshake deals with ufologists like Bill Moore, the author of the Roswell incident. And basically, if the ufologists agreed to share information with their contacts at the AFOSI, the agents agreed to share information back to them. And they did, too. Like, legitimately, they would release real information mixed in with the copious amounts of reports of bogus UFOs that were collected during the 20-year run of Project Blue Book. Because the best way to get somebody on your side is to give them a little taste of something real, right? Mm-hmm. And it's pretty clear to me that George Knapp is one of these guys. He has a real background in investigative journalism and a very deep interest in ufology, so he's exactly the kind of guy who would break a story of an advanced weapons system if he found out about it. So rather than risk George Knapp leaking secrets to foreign intelligence, the AFOSI fed him misinformation and half-truths and easily debunked evidence to keep him on a short leash. And in return for that, I believe Knapp is kind of like a hunting dog or a truffle-finding pig for them. I don't know how he managed to get the Russian documents, but it's likely the reason that he didn't release them immediately is because he passed them to the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, who performed their own investigation and cleared the information for public release.
Why would it take them 33 years to do that?
It could be that the person that gave him these documents died, and he felt like he could finally, like not that he's going to name anybody, but it's safer that they're dead now, let's just say. And now he can know that the Kremlin won't go after this person or whatever.
Could be.
It could be that, I mean, my theory on George Knapp is that he is one of those guys that people can feed things to, and the government knows it, and he's a very useful tool because people listen to him, people respect him. He's a journalist, and he'll pretty much put anything out there that they give him. And so I wonder if a similar deal was going on in Russia when he happened to be there. Like, they knew that about him, and they fed that to him maybe back in the day. I mean, that was 33 years ago. That's a long time ago.
Could have been.
Who knows?
Yeah. I found none of this, like how George Knapp got these documents aside, mm-hmm. None of this surprises me. They were also in the Cold War. I think it shows something that we've talked about a lot on this podcast is like, as proof that aliens probably aren't real or coming to the US or coming to Earth is because you don't get these insane reports out of like a lot of other countries either. And they wouldn't just be coming to the US, but like I could also see that, of course, you do still get some reports like that we've talked about. So like they were probably also getting their own reports of like unidentified phenomena, and we're looking into them because they also were in the Cold War, and we're also concerned about national security and secret technology and like what we were doing and covering up what they were doing. And like, so I just like am not surprised that these documents exist at all, whether or not they're real or whether or not they're like cover ups in the way that the US has been using them to misdirect and cover up, or if they just like legit are the same thing as like Project Blue Book. Like they had their own version of Project Blue Book that they were looking into like unidentified phenomena. I like nothing about this actually seems like, of course it's interesting, but like on a broader like conspiracy theory level, like I just didn't find it that interesting. I was like, oh yeah, this like makes total sense. Like how George Knapp fucking got them, like that's kind of interesting, I guess. But like, I don't know. Am I being like, maybe I'm just being like far too literal about this, but I was like, yeah, no shit, they had a similar thing. Like,
well, no, I think you're 100% on. Do you want a little crash course in Russian ufology during the Cold War? Because I can give you one right now.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. So, because it still leaves the question at the end of the day, like, what are these documents, right? Like George Knapp got them. The Russians were clearly studying something. And a lot of people are pointing to this and saying, well, if the Russians are doing it too, then there must be something there. Where there's smoke, there's fire, right? But let's go back to Soviet Russia in 1977. The town of Petrozavodsk.
Petrozavodsk.
Petrozavodsk. I have to put on the heated rivalry, Ilya.
Just be Ilya for a moment.
The town of Petrozavodsk.
No.
Petrozavodsk, Hollander.
Petrozavodsk.
Petrozavodsk.
That's very good.
Petrozavodsk.
Хорошо.
Hollander. That town.
Okay.
This
Oh
town.
my God.
Okay. It's a town. It sits on the shores of Lake Onega in a town about 300 miles, 500 kilometers northeast of St. Petersburg. One September night in 1977, residents of Petrozavodsk witnessed a luminous star in the sky, which allegedly cast out beams of light like a, quote, downpour of rain. After a few minutes of this light show, the object coalesced into what was described as a half disk, like a half moon shape, and then flew through the clouds of the lake, leaving a red depression in the clouds. You could actually see like a red silhouette in the clouds. Weather stations couldn't account for that phenomena, and so speculation spread very quickly. The incident gained even more attention when similar reports started popping up in other areas of the country, and suddenly places as far away as Finland were seeing these luminous, gelatinous balls of light in the sky. We call these jellyfish UFOs now. But obviously, Soviet Russia, 1977, this is problem. These reports ended up on the desk of Soviet chairman of the Military Industrial Commission, Leonid Smirnov. And Smirnov wasn't concerned about aliens. He was concerned that the reports may actually indicate anomalous weapons, either Soviet or Western.
He wasn't concerned about his vodka empire. Sorry.
That's small potatoes compared to this.
And so he took his concerns to the Kremlin. And about a month later, by the end of 1977, the USSR launched a new defensive strategy initiative. Its objectives were twofold. Number one, research paranormal and atmospheric and space phenomena and their influence on military technical equipment and personnel. And number two, research of a physical nature and mechanisms of paranormal, atmospheric, and space phenomena. And that is what I have called Project Red Book. This project was, of course, classified because the Russian government believed that it was residual phenomena from weapons. And that's not the kind of thing that you want the public thinking about when they're spending a night doing some lakeside sightseeing, right?
Right.
So what did this Soviet investigation find? And this is all according to Boris Sokolov and Yuli Platov, who wrote this up in the Skeptical Inquirer in 2000. This is the conclusion of the findings. Practically all the mass night UFO sightings were conclusively identified as phenomena caused by rocket launches and tests of aerospace equipment. They even managed to synchronize the Petrozavodsk incident with the launch of the Cosmos 955 satellite. They go on to write, the most surprising realization is that in contrast to the numerous depictions and proofs of alien contact assembled by ufologists, we could not obtain any material evidence or testimony to substantiate claims that an unidentified craft from an alien world landed in the Soviet Union, made contact with pilots, or abducted servicemen or civilians. And this is despite evidence gathered within the framework of a 13-year project that involved great observational potential of the entire Soviet military and many civilian organizations. So 13 years, the USSR studied this phenomena and found nothing. But this is most likely what George Knapp ended up with. This is probably what he got a hold of, right? Because the things in his paper where we talk about these luminous jellyfish anomalies, that's absolutely what happened in 1977.
I mean, that all makes a lot of sense.
There's a conclusion in the paper that I love that I will also read here. This means that either the territory of the USSR was closed to alien travelers during the years 1978 to 1995, or that the hypothesis of an extraterrestrial origin for UFOs is sorely lacking even the thinnest shred of evidence. Any serious UFO investigator must, at the very least, face this reality.
Skeptics, man. No fun. No
Just
fun.
raining on everyone's parades.
I know.
I do kind of love their little tongue-in-cheek, like, or maybe the Soviet Union just closed their borders to extraterrestrials, and we're like, no, you can't land here.
Yeah, and they listened. As we know, the extraterrestrials do. They're very. They understand the laws that countries set forth about them, for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, to your point, Katie, that's pretty much exactly what you had postulated. Basically, around the late 70s through the 80s, the Russians got concerned that there may be military weapons being fired in their airspace. They investigated it. They explored the possibility that they might have been UFOs, as in extraterrestrial crafts, found no evidence that they were extraterrestrial crafts, actually found evidence that they were, in fact, rockets being fired, and closed their program. And that's what George Knapp found. If anything, it proves that aliens are not real.
Or at least there's no evidence in that moment
Right.
pertaining to that.
Right.
If I were the Soviet government, I would want people to think that we have alien technology, and I would want George Knapp to bring evidence stories, campfire stories back, talking about crazy alien craft to scare the U.S.
And that's kind of the other point that you had there, is that maybe that got leaked to George Knapp as a misinformation tactic from the Soviets.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same misdirect. I actually, my take is actually a little bit the opposite of yours, EJ, which is not to imply that they have alien technology, but to misdirect away from the fact that they were testing rockets and things like that.
Right.
That could also be true.
Could be.
Yes.
Yeah, totally
absolutely.
could be. Mm-hmm.
And they know that George Knapp is a journalist, and also he believes in this stuff. So he's going to I mean, I don't know why he waited 33 years, but, if you give it to somebody who is a journalist, they're probably going to post about it somewhere. But that's the thing. I don't understand why he waited so long. All I have to think is that his source died.
Could be. Yeah. Yeah, it could be his source. It could be that something, something expired or something. Yeah. So some deal was made somewhere. I don't know. That would be a question for George Knapp. George Knapp, if you're listening to this podcast, slayingmonsterspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know why you waited so long.
I'm sure he doesn't want to talk to us.
Close with our non-alien story about
Sure.
Bigfoot. Bigfoot. sighted at Quantico Military Base.
Quantico.
Quantico. I always want to say
Quantico.
Quantico.
It's not like a
There's
cool
no-
like island.
Yeah,
like,
no,
yeah,
because you
like, down in
Quantico.
Quantico.
Yeah, that's where you go and you sip your like margaritas.
Yes.
On
There's
the,
there's no hard tea. Quantico.
Allegedly, there is a Sasquatch running around the restricted military training area of Quantico Marine Base. Now, according to the Bigfoot Field Research Organization president Matt Moneymaker, Marines spotted the Sasquatch on a night maneuver in 2005, and this report was just added to their database, the BFRO's database, in January. Got some press around it. For those that don't know, the Quantico Military Base is a training site in Virginia near the Potomac River, and units there go on field training exercises in the woods surrounding the base. Now, on one of these routine exercises, a small group of Marines came upon this alleged Sasquatch. Andrew Bird was the Marine who gave this report, and he said he was in 3-year training for the infantry officers course. And he and his squad were instructed to maneuver through a section of the woods on foot and meet up with a vehicle. This whole thing is 500 to 700 meters, little less than half a mile. So they weren't going very far. But as this was a training mission, they were doing it in the darkness with their flashlights turned off. Now, the first sign that something was amiss is that they arrived back where they started and discovered they had gone in a big loop because their compass was malfunctioning. That left them very confused, and so they started off again, and about 20 minutes into their hike, they heard this sharp cracking sound, and they turned their flashlights on and shined them in the direction of the sound, and Bird describes what they saw and says, "When we looked up approximately 20 to 30 feet above the ground, we saw a large, hairy creature with its back facing us. The creature appeared to be pulling 2 trees together. The hair was a brown or reddish-brown color. I could not determine whether it had climbed the tree or was already in it, but it was clearly manipulating both trees with great strength." He said it was over 8 feet tall, said it was too big to be a black bear. Matt Moneymaker of the BFRO took on this case personally and spoke with Bird and the other Marines. And Moneymaker's report says, "The large Bigfoot was up in the air 20 to 30 feet off the ground between the trees that were 4 to 5 feet apart. Because of the obstructed view through the trees, the Marines could only see it from the waist up. In other words, they could not see if the feet were perched on a lateral branch. They saw the back of it with arms spread apart, each arm partly wrapped around a tree trunk. With this grip, it had leverage to pull the trees together with enough force to make them creak and crack."
Cool. I mean, okay. I don't know.
I know. That was my response too. I feel like EJ, both of us this month on this month's Fortean, we're like, okay.
Every item you're just like, okay.
More campfire stories that we can't prove about. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think it was, Matt?
Well, so Quantico borders the Merrimack Farm Wildlife Management Area, which is a 300-acre section of preserved land. So it really wouldn't be unusual for a rogue bear to wander close to the base. And sometimes that actually happens. Like just last year, the Naval Crimes Unit, their Instagram posted a picture of a rogue black bear that just wandered up to the fence surrounding their facility. So we know that there are black bear there. I think the important detail is that when Moneymaker interviewed Andrew Bird, he found out that the Marines only saw the upper half of the creature. Mm-hmm. So they only observed 4 foot of animal, and they sort of assumed that the rest was down there and probably an additional 4 feet, mm-hmm. right? But it was dark. 4 feet is about the height of a black bear. That's a perfectly reasonable black bear. You wouldn't see an 8-foot black bear, but you would see a 4-foot black bear.
Do you mean on its front 4 paws, or do you mean walking
up in
on
a tree?
4?
It was up in a tree.
But a black bear standing up is more than 4 feet tall.
But if it was like sort of horizontal in a tree, it wouldn't be like fully stretched out. It would be like holding on to the tree.
Like clinging to a tree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, my other thought too with the black bear thing is like black bears, or I don't really know. So, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, listeners. But like, I could imagine that black bears could have like reddish brown tint to their, because I'm saying like if it's night and you're shining flashlights on it, it might not look black. Like they describe it as reddish brown, but like the light could be doing weird things, reflecting off the hair. Like the hair could have, you know, texture in it. Like a lot of people who have dark hair, like their hair actually has like reddish undertones to it. So like, I don't know, that could be true for black bears as well. Like,
yeah,
it is true.
Yeah. Also, you know, it's a story from 2005. So we're talking about something that's 20 years ago that he's recalling. A lot of those details can shift over that time.
Yeah. So I just looked up black bears, like colors for black bears. Black bears can be black, brown, cinnamon, blonde, blue-gray, or white.
Yeah.
So it could actually have been like a cinnamony red black bear.
Yeah, there you go. I suspect that they probably ran into a black bear in the night. They only saw the upper half of it, but maybe there were dense branches underneath or something like that. And so they thought they could see legs, or they implied legs, but couldn't quite make them out. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times we think of black bears as being thicker than they actually are. But if you look at black bears, they're actually kind of skinny when they're stretched out, especially, again, if it was holding two trees together. Mm-hmm. So I don't think any of this is indicative it's anything other than a black bear.
When in 2005 did they see this? Did they mention the season?
It says it's in the summer. I was just thinking that too, EJ. And like bears get really fat before they go to like hibernate, but in the middle of the summer,
they're skinny.
They're probably just at like a normal weight.
They're just normal. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Yes.
They're normal weight.
I don't mean to fat shame bears.
Or skinny shame bears.
Skinny shame bears.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the most like Occam's razor conclusion here, is that, especially given that I didn't realize that they saw the bear in a tree, but they didn't see the full bear, and assumed the bear was 8 feet tall. Or not the bear, the Bigfoot. So yeah, I think that especially, you know, that's like 21 years ago.
It's probably good they ran away regardless, because, you know, bears are bears, so you shouldn't encounter them in the wild.
You should give them
shouldn't.
space.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
because they can fuck you up.
I would not want to be anywhere near a black bear. Yeah. The most interesting part of that story to me was the fact that their compass didn't work, which is very unusual for Sasquatch sightings. But I suspect, again, this is a military training facility. I suspect that probably has more to do with them using like some old busted compass that they got from the, you know, whatever the supplier was there.
It could be anything. It could have been broken. They could have fucked up. We really don't know. Maybe they were given a broken compass on purpose to like simulate equipment malfunctions in the field. Like, I have no idea. I'm just saying, like, there are lots of reasons your compass didn't work.
Right.
Including up to and including like human error. Like, you just messed up, you know?
Right. You don't usually hear about Bigfoot in trees, and you don't usually hear about Bigfoot fucking up your compass. So,
you don't hear about Bigfoot in trees a whole lot?
not a whole lot. Yeah, not a whole lot. There's like, Matt Moneymaker even says there's what he says, a handful of reports of Sasquatches in trees. Although he does point out that the Sasquatches in trees are usually smaller Sasquatches, which again, I'm like, those are bears.
So they're bears.
Yeah. You know, that's interesting. You would think that a biped, like an ape-like biped, would be all about the trees. I think we'd see Bigfoot all over trees.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
There's not much of that.
Yeah, there isn't.
I think if I was to counter that, I would say it's because Sasquatches are so big and heavy that they're no longer suited to travel in trees.
That makes sense.
That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
You know, because you're talking about a lot of times they're compared to like orangutans. Although orangutans spend a decent amount of time in trees.
Oh, yeah, no,
I
they're in
guess.
trees. Yeah.
So do gorillas. Is
Yeah,
Sasquatch
so do
supposed to be
gorillas.
bigger than gorillas? Gorillas
don't
are
think so.
Those are
enormous.
heavy.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just
Yeah.
taller than gorillas, but gorillas are, yeah, they probably
Huge.
weigh about the same.
Yeah.
Hold on. How much does a male gorilla weigh?
You Google that. I'm gonna
Male-
Google how much does a male Sasquatch weigh.
Male gorillas typically weigh between 300 and 500 pounds, but they can reach up to 600 pounds and approximately 5 to 6 feet tall
Okay.
when they stand up.
The Google AI overview tells me that based on anecdotal reports and cryptozoological research, a male Sasquatch is estimated to weigh between 400 and 1,000 pounds.
I mean, that's a huge range, but the small to average range for a Sasquatch is the same as a male gorilla, and gorillas climb trees all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not all the time, but they do.
Then I don't know. I don't know
been
why
proven
Sasquatches.
wrong, Matt.
Yeah, I don't know why Sasquatches don't climb
Go
trees.
sit down, Matt. Well, it was a black bear. Okay.
Wow.
Listen, we got to talk about something on this podcast.
what
If we just said it's a black bear, moving on.
Moving on.
EJ, you want to take us out with a quote?
Oh, yeah. This is from Bill Moore, author of The Roswell Incident, at a 1989 MUFON conference. Disinformation is a strange and bizarre game. Those who play it are completely aware that an operation's success is dependent upon dropping false information upon a target or mark in such a way that the person will accept it as truth and will repeat and even defend it to others as if it were true.
Very appropriate for today's discussion about disinformation, I think. Cool. Well, thank you all for joining me. Thanks for listening. Thank you to all of our supporters. We love you. We love having you. If you are feeling generous, head over to slayingmonsterspodcast.com. Click on the support us button at the top of the page and consider leaving a donation or becoming one of our supporters there. If you are in search of something really cool to wear this spring, we also have our merch store there where we have some Slaying Monsters t-shirts, we have some hats, and some other cool stuff. So check that out as well. And let's see, this is coming out at the end of February, and we're going to be hitting the airwaves shortly with a brand new series that is going to be a whole lot of fun. So definitely stick around and check that out. And yeah, until next time, be safe out there.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Slaying Monsters, the Fortean History Podcast. If you like the podcast, there's a couple ways you can show your support. You can tell your friends, you can leave us a rating and review on your podcast platform, or you can head over to slayingmonsterspodcast.com and click on the Support Us button to leave a donation. For questions, suggestions, and other feedback, reach out to us, slayingmonsterspodcast@gmail.com, and stay up to date by following us on socials at Slaying Monsters Podcast. Your support helps us grow, and we are truly grateful to have our listeners and community.